A warning before you listen.
What you are about to hear is not meant for children, nor for the faint of heart. This is an unfiltered retelling of ancient myths, told as they were born, raw, violent, unsoftened. Expect scenes of brutality, curses that linger, betrayals that reshape fate, and a hunger for power that shows no mercy. These myths were never meant to lull children to sleep. They were forged in blood, shadow, and fire. So ask yourself, are you ready to hear them as they were first told? Sources and references can be found in the episode description.
Chapter 8, from the Chaos Epic, Gaia and Uranus, from Chaos to Tyranny. The Severed Sky, Rise of the New Executioner. The earth gasped not from pain, but from the thrill of vengeance blooming inside her. Uranus had been torn apart, and his body didn't fall like a corpse. His voice dissolved into the air, a threat with no tongue, a whisper with no breath. He became untouchable, a shadow with no grip, a cloud that bore no rain, a sky stripped of manhood, left as nothing but expanse without command. But this was no victory. It was the beginning of a void. Now the world had no sky father, no nightly weight of divine dominance. The earth could stretch, but not relax. For safety does not come from the blade, but from the one who has not yet wielded it. And there he stood, Cronus, on a throne not yet carved, holding a sickle still dripping with a god's curse, and he did not know. Was he the avenger or the herald of a new cycle of tyranny? He said nothing, no triumph, no smile, just a presence, a new ceiling, a man who had seen divine blood, and now desired the power it once held. The Titans rose, like a flood from Gaia's depths. Their bodies bore scars no eyes had witnessed. Each step carried centuries of suffocation. They did not bow to Cronus, but they did not deny him either. No one wanted the throne, because it was built not from glory, but from shame. Still, he sat, he who had struck, he who had risen, he who breathed the first breath without his father's shadow overhead. But breath is not salvation, and ascension is not light, because Gaia did not smile. The earth, though she forged the blade, saw in his eyes nothing but repetition, with a younger face. Cronus was not a god, he was a reaction, a scream from a wounded womb that never healed. He stood on blood, and now he gripped the world beneath him to make sure. No one else would rise as he had. The first night without Uranus was quiet, but it was a different silence. Not fear, but suspense. Not oppression, but a question. Would suns dare touch the sky? Would the earth bear one who would dethrone Cronus as he had dethroned his own father? Is every hand that holds the sickle doomed to become a mouth that only speaks when afraid to be severed? That night, Cronus slept, with blood still wet on his hands, and in his dream, he saw his father's shadow, not with eyes, but with a gash in the clouds, bleeding, whispering without sound. As you have done, it will be done to you. He awoke in terror, but did not move, because those who ascend on blood know one misstep can snap the illusion of power, and though the sky vanished from the face of the world, its curse lingered. The earth began to stir again, not with hatred this time, but with fear, for she now knew the sickle raised in her name could one day be turned against her. And Cronus, though he had cut, had never buried. Upon his throne, the prophecy began to breathe. Not yet born, but pulsing, because every throne built on a scream carries within it a voice not yet heard, one that will grow, and one day carry a new sickle, and the sky It did not need to return, because those who sever it become it and fall just the same. When the earth pulses again, Uranus did not die, but he was no longer a god. His voice still lingers high in the heavens, not as command, but as warning. His body never crashed down. It seeped into air, into silence, into a ceiling that would never descend again. He no longer ruled. He no longer struck fear. But he still sees, and those who feel his gaze do not hear wisdom. They see what happens when power is severed from its root. Uranus has become a ghost, suspended between curse and caution. He no longer owns the earth, but he still haunts the sky. This chapter of the epic has come to an end, but remember, what you've just heard is not a record of facts, but the echo of a myth, a story born from the imagination of the ancients, etched into the long memory of humankind. If this tale stirred something in you, if it opened a door to reflection or wonder, don't forget to support the channel and share the journey with those you love. And in the comments, tell us, which moment in this chapter struck you the most and why? We'll meet again in the next chapter of this audio odyssey through time. Until then, farewell.